Alright, so let's start off with the cases of these watches. Now, as previously mentioned, this is the white gold Submariner, so it's made out of 18 karat white gold. This is made out of 18 karat yellow gold. Now, Rolex's gold is pretty special in that Rolex has its own foundry, so this was actually like melted from the ore in the Rolex factory and molded into these beautiful watches. So they took a lot of attention to detail and they have excellent quality control at the Rolex factory. So other aspects of the cases improved. Now, at least moving on in this review, I'm going to kind of say things about one watch and they both kind of apply to each other. So starting off with, I'll just go with the yellow gold for now. This watch is obviously a dive watch. It's one of the most famous dive watches in history. It has a 300-meter depth rating, which is about 1,000 feet, which is more than anyone would ever need. And to be honest with you, no one's probably going to dive with a gold Submariner, as gold's pretty soft as a metal, but it still looks excellent and very, very sporty. So one of my favorite aspects about the case of this watch is the bezel. Now, this is sort of the gold standard, no pun intended, of bezels. It has 120 clicks, it is extremely smooth, it's got a very satisfying click, and it's almost like a squeaky click, and there's absolutely no shakiness. I mean, Rolex really knows how to make a bezel. Again, it is the gold standard. So the bezel works absolutely beautifully. It is by far my favorite out of any watch. So more of the technical aspects of the case. It's a 40mm case, which is the perfect size for a dive watch. It is not oversized. It's not like too big, too small. A lot of dive watches in modern times tend to be like gigantic. I remember that IWC 2000 meter. That thing was absolutely huge. It had something like a 49mm case, and that was just a little bit obnoxious for my taste. I think the 40mm size is perfect. So the Rolex Submariner has a 3135 automatic in-house movement, which is what you'd expect from a brand of this high quality. It's got to be in-house. It's a 4 Hertz movement, which gives it that signature glide to that second hand, which is extremely famous. That's what anyone says, oh, this is how you identify a real Rolex. It's got that beautiful smoothness, and it's, again, 4 Hertz, which means 8 beats per second. The movement is plus or minus 2 seconds per day, which more than exceeds the COSC standards for a chronometer. So it is a chronometer, but it's actually got better than average standards. It has a 48-hour power reserve, which is perfect. That is exactly what I look for in a watch. 48 hours. A lot of watches have like 45, and that isn't really intuitive. I don't really know why they'd make it 45 when they could just go 3 more hours to have 2 days perfectly. So let's actually move on to a wrist shot of both these watches. So these watches are extremely comfortable on the wrist, and that's because the curved links on that band. So as you can see, this watch is not too big, not too small. I have an above average size wrist, so if it does look a little small, that's probably why. But it looks absolutely beautiful on the wrist. So there's the yellow gold one. I'll show you the white gold on the wrist. Alright, so here's the white gold. I really like the white gold because it can be mistaken for a steel Rolex. If you don't know about them, the way you identify that it's a white gold is if it has that blue bezel and blue dial. But I really like that because, I mean, for someone who wants to be sort of, again, low-key, doesn't want to impress that many people, doesn't want to get really asked about their watch, they just like want a quality, heavy Rolex, this white gold is perfect because, again, it can be mistaken for the steel. It's just, only a connoisseur would know how to tell that it's a white gold Rolex. So, all in all, these are very, very high-quality watches. Again, they wouldn't be famous if they weren't. I mean, they're absolutely beautifully made, and I really think the new ceramic bezel design is absolutely spectacular. It adds a whole modern look to it over Submariners of old. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe and share. Thank you.